Good day, my friends. My name is Tracy Repchuk, and I'm the host of Reach Millions TV, an entrepreneurial lifestyle and learning channel, where I will educate and introduce you to some of the greatest powerhouses in their fields. Now, as an entrepreneur for over 37 years, I've had the good fortune to appear in Forbes over 27 times, speak in 39 countries, appeared on NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, won awards from the Senate, the Assembly, the White House, and President Obama, written 9 #1 international bestsellers, and from that journey, I have reached millions with my message. So I wanted to make sure you knew how to do this too, with specialized trainings and by introducing you to the people that can help you find more leads, make more sales, and reach millions with your message. You can find out more about me at tracyrepchuk.com and reachmillionsacademy.com. Now, today I'm doing one of my favorite topics, which is being brand you. This is all about branding made simple. And so we're going to take you on this journey. Now, there is a formula for that instant identification process. And we're going to be taking a look at the 3 parts of that formula, which is the value, the visual, and then visibility. So first, before we go running down that path, let's take a look at the difference between brand versus marketing. So if we take a look at Federal Express, for example, their brand or unique selling proposition is when it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight. Now, they are a longer tagline. The optimum is actually 3 to 5 words. However, in the case of Federal Express, they were able to leverage marketing in order to really get that message out. So what is marketing then? Marketing is that distribution network, that way that you get it to all the various other channels so that it's able to be seen and found. And that is how, of course, you get your message. Now, if we take a look at the fact that marketing is actually part of your brand, so what you do to get your message or promise to customers versus the brand is how you keep that promise. So if we take a look at personal brand, which is what we're really talking about a little bit today. And that is when you, as the CEO or the author, the coach, the consultant, you move out in front of an audience versus being within your company. So, of course, CEOs that have done that is the amazing Richard Branson. He is, of course, the CEO of kind of the Virgin kind of brand, right? So what he has done is established elements that allow us to create that perception and what sticks in our mind when it comes to a brand. So in this particular case, he is known for, being kind of robust, outgoing, adventurous. He's an amazing philanthropist. Those are elements that have kind of created his brand. If we take a look at someone like Oprah Winfrey, she too has, moved out and become a personal brand. She was somebody that broke barriers in the early days of television. You didn't encounter the topics that she was addressing on TV. And of course, that really helped to move her into that caring mode. And then it moved her into very much of a spiritual awareness that she was dealing with, to the point where she really wanted to build her own network. So that she could control the content and the messaging. It became more and more important to her. And of course, she developed and got known as that woman with the golden touch. You go on her show, she mentioned your book, you're a New York Times bestseller. And that's the various elements. And so when it comes to you, you need to be starting to think, what perception do you want in the minds of people and what's going to stick in their mind, and help them to make buying decisions as well. And that's what we're going to be taking that journey on today. Now, a personal brand provides a steady stream of ideal clients, association with a marketing niche. It establishes greater credibility. It helps you to gain recognition and prestige. And it really carries a higher perceived value. Just by coming up with a core identity really starts to add a $10,000 ticket price to who you are, especially when it comes to being online. Now, Coco Chanel very early on established the importance of that branding. And she said, in order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different. And that starts to move towards that unique selling proposition that, of course, we just took a look at with regards to FedEx, that tagline. Now, personal branding, self-positioning, and individual branding by whatever name was first introduced in 1937 in the book Think and Grow Rich. So this is not a new concept. However, it of course is becoming more evolved with the advent of being able to immediately go global through the networks that we can all access. Now, you can brand and market anything, and I'm going to prove that to you right now. Imagine walking along the beach, seeing a rock and thinking, what if I put that in a box and we called it a pet rock? When he revealed this idea to friends, they thought he was absolutely insane. That, again, is a great little entrepreneurial trait, is that element of being crazy. And are being thought of as crazy. And so he did put it in a box, started to sell it to the tune of $15 million in 6 months. So a lot of times I can say that we can overcomplicate things. And did we need a pet rock? No, we didn't, but we certainly bought them, didn't we? So that's one idea. So there he is, the brand, and then of course, market. And his name was Gary Dahl, for those of you who didn't know the story. The other thing when it comes to the ability to market anything is, of course, the chia kind of, the kind of ability to, plant and grow something out of some sort of image. And of course, here we have Chia Brittany. But of course, the original Chia Pet came out. And that consistently makes $8 million a year. And here's the marketing position they took. They have it available all year round, but they do major pushes around Christmas because they know it's that great, funny stocking gift kind of throwaway. And so people buy it when they can't think of anything else. And there it is, to the tune of $8 million a year, even though this product has been on the marketplace for around 15 years. So it was not a fade and a trend like the rock. They managed to say, how can we embed this into culture? And that's what they did with it in Christmas. So it is time for you to reinvent or establish your brand. When you are feeling stuck, afraid, or doubtful, when you're standing still or falling behind, when prospects don't get what makes you special, this is a very important one we're going to be addressing. Because your brand is making it clear what you want to be known for. When you don't do this, you're going to be swimming in the sea of sameness. And this results in people really not knowing what you do, what you stand for, and that becomes white noise, especially on the internet. So the other thing to understand when it comes to branding is that it's a strategy. It's not really one of those quick fixes in many cases. It's built over time, not with marketing tactics. And again, we can see this evolution when we see companies like Nike, and Just Do It. It took a long time for us to be able to identify various elements. So one of the key benefits of course, establishing a brand is that you establish that value. You stand out from your competitors. So there's 8 parts to being brand you. The first is your unique selling proposition. The second is your colors. The third is a logo element. The fourth is your website, that first impression that you create, that look and feel. The fifth is your image, your personal look to match your brand. The sixth is how do you treat customers and build that brand loyalty and bonding. And the seventh is your public persona, because your actions speak louder than words. And the eighth is your communication style. How and what you communicate, whether it be through blog, email, social media, phone, marketing, business card, texting, whatever that is. This starts to create that community-centric marketing plan that you need to be addressing. So your unique selling proposition is what makes you you on your marketing message. When you attempt to be known for everything, you actually become known for nothing. And so it is really what starts to set you and your business apart. And so I'm going to take a look at a couple of examples. If we take a look at these guys right here, right? The M&M kind of mascot identity that has been created here. Now, if you can recall, what is their unique selling proposition, right? And that is the milk chocolate that melts in your mouth, not in your hands. So this is a genius kind of, again, that tagline. It's longer than it should be, but it works. It works because it's over time, and it works because it clearly states exactly what their differentiating factor was against their competition at the time, which was Smarties. Now, here's the error that Smarties did. They are the superior and better candy. However, what happens when you have Smarties, for those of you who've tried them, they bleed in your hand. So what you need to do is take that deficit, if you want, that weakness or perceived weakness, and turn it into brand recognition. Had they said, this is the face paint candy for kids because you put it on your face, you put the red on your lips. That's what we all did as kids anyway. Then you have that selling feature that kids would have gone mad for, and M&Ms would have been the ones that were practically put out of business, where now they're, of course, the ones with the 6-story buildings all over the world because of the candy. So 7 tips to developing your unique selling proposition. You want to clearly describe the biggest benefits of owning your product or service. You want to set up your buying criteria by making an offer or guarantee. You want to solve a pain point or industry performance gap. You want to be specific and offer proof. You want to condense that then into one clear and concise sentence. Then integrate your USP, unique selling proposition, in all your marketing, and then always deliver your unique selling proposition promise. So let's take a look at how that starts to unfold visually. So one of the key elements to the visual of a brand is colors. Now, this goes back to, and we've had this discussion in prior episodes on target market. If you do not know who your target market is, then how do you know what colors to select? Because that is who you need to appeal to. There are various colors that, of course, convert brilliantly with women and brilliantly with men and brilliantly in various marketing niches: spiritual, money-based, wealth building, health and fitness, internet marketing. All of these types of niches, they have specific colors that convert better. The food industry does great with yellow and red, and these are things that you want to start to identify, and you can't do that if you don't know who you're marketing to. So if you take a look just at some of our products, you'll see we're heavily kind of into blues and greens, splashes of pink and splashes of yellow. And again, the reasonings are dependability and money earning and things of that nature. And yellow is for happiness. So each color has a very specific meaning, as does, tones within that color. But if you want to start to learn generally, you'll know that, yellow is clarity and warmth, and red is excitement and love. Again, heavy in the food industry. Purple is very heavy on wealth, royalty, and high luxury brands, as well as spiritual. Blue is for that dependability and strength. Green is for health and wellness, peacefulness. Those are kind of, and of course, the orange is for cheerful, confidence, and friendly. And these are general things that you then start to play with. There's entire trainings that I actually have on how do you color balance now, and how do you pick based on those. And probably in a future episode, I'll focus on that as well. But this is generally good to know, because if you're, focused on women, then you want to focus on colors that convert well with women. And those, of course, are pinks, and they are reds, and they're yellows and greens. Okay. Now, if we take a look then at another visual element, that is your logo. And so if we take a look at Apple, you'll see here that first logo, which is Sir Isaac Newton sitting under a tree waiting for the apple to fall, it really goes to say, do not do graphic design if you are not that. This was developed originally by Steve Jobs. It was the first logo that was made. And then, of course, they hired a designer in that exact same year that launched the Apple. And now they just do general tweaks to that based on coloring. If we take a look at Kentucky Fried Chicken, 1952, he's got his words, and he is the symbol. Symbols are very important, because you can reduce it down to an image when you get powerful and when you have established your brand. Then, of course, Kentucky Fried Chicken started to go international, and that whole sentence does not convert or translate very well. So they shortened it to KFC. They went to the red, which is the high converting color in the food industry. And then, of course, kept the visual of the Colonel. And now they're just red and Colonel Sanders, and that's it. That's what you see around the world to represent Kentucky Fried Chicken. That is the evolution that can happen. So, as you are getting involved in your own design of the logo, know that it can evolve, and it is something that can move, and that's okay, right? You're not stuck with that one logo for all eternity. And again, here's kind of that Volkswagen, and as they started to move to a dark target market, that's when they actually started to move towards the Facebook blue, because that is where their target market was. Then you can see the amazing evolution that starts to occur, which is your very simple now. So we know that A with the swoosh is for Amazon, right? And then, of course, this symbol here is for Mercedes. And here's the thing, now what that means based on a instant viewing. So here we know Mercedes is dependable and reliable and safe and luxury, and and things of the nature. It starts to create an instant impression on a visual. And this is why a picture's worth 1,000 words, and why it's so important to start to incorporate that brand identity by logo. So if we take a look at the original logo, which of course is this, now they've just taken that swoosh and put it underneath the A. And here's the beautiful part about that too, is now that swoosh has become the identifier, and now they can have Amazon Prime and Amazon Music and Amazon Food and Amazon everything, because Amazon is everything from A to Z, which is what that swoosh was indicating. We take a look at Baskin Robbins, and of course, ask yourself, how many flavors of ice cream do they have? Well, that is embedded into their logo, 31 flavors. The FedEx we saw earlier, of course, has the forward motion of fast delivery. And, the positioning of FedEx with it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. was genius, because now FedEx became a verb. Now, when people need to get something somewhere fast, they say, well, let's just FedEx it, right? And they managed to secure the entire cream of the crop shipping, which is the most expensive shipping. And if people even worried for a second that they needed something to get there fast and the alternatives couldn't do that, that became the perception, everyone started to, of course, FedEx it. And then if we take a look at the Tostitos, their unique selling proposition is, there's a party in every bag type of thing. And of course, they've got the two guys dipping a nacho chip into the salsa, which is the party in every bag. And that's the importance of visualization as well, is it embeds a story, a continuing story of what your brand is. So what does your logo say? Now, these are just a few logos that we've developed within our company for various clients to help move them forward in their identification. And in general, you like to have something that gives that indicator visually of what it is that they do. And then the next item is that visibility piece. Okay. And so this is that, perception of the impression that you're giving on various areas of how people see you and meet you. That first place, especially during the time that we could not get together, is your website. That became the first impression. And so it was important for you to ensure that the identification of your colors, which meet your target market, started to unfold both visually on your website and, of course, throughout your social media. Your website is that first impression now. And that's why it's so important to, have that be a high quality element, because, generally it's the storefront now, this is your main street. And even more importantly, it's that piece that's broadcast to the world. And then the other piece is, how do you treat customers? Customer acquisition is 80% of the expense of a company, bringing that new lead and that new prospect into your business. And so it's really important that once you get them in, how do you treat them? Now, in my earlier days in particular, when I started a software company in 1985 at the age of 19, we were getting major clients. I was getting everything from governments to banks to the lottery corporation, companies that were spending, up to $1 million with us. So you'd be doing gift baskets annually and cards and things of that nature. And then nowadays, how are you building that loyalty, through perhaps maybe events that they're only invited to, kind of VIP events or VIP calls, or sending them cards. I still do that. We use, of course, a service like send out cards and things like that. So you want to start to be thinking, when you get that customer, what happens after that and how do they feel? It's again why autoresponders and that sequencing and automation is so important in your company, because as you grow and get more customers, you cannot scale without the ability to communicate to them frequently. And that's, of course, part of it. Now, your public persona is also that position where your actions speak louder than words. The more you become known, and like myself, who's a speaker, I've spoken in 39 countries now. I was on stages with some of the most powerful people in the world. You start to build that public persona. And so the bigger you get, the more eyes that are on you. So your behavior really needs to be authentic. Who you are on the stage should be who you are off the stage. And as you can see, it's magnified the bigger you get, the more pressure is on a person, but more importantly, the more you are being watched for everything that you're doing. And of course, you know, the entire world pretty much watched as Britney Spears, just honestly couldn't handle the pressure of what she was under, and rightfully so. There's a lot of things that happen to somebody the bigger you get, and there's a lot of pressure and stress that goes with that. And so it's important to remember these things. But of course, we all witnessed this. We all witnessed, people like Justin Bieber get arrested when he couldn't find his way. So these are examples of when your actions affect your brand. But then when Miley Cyrus, wanted to break away from the Disney brand, she, of course, started to come out with very erotic videos, and her music was drastically different. This was a conscious change by her. This was a brand reinvention. And that happens, and of course affects the public persona as well. And in this case, you start to say, and this happens very much in an industry where you're a speaker, a trainer, a coach, a business strategist or consultant, in that you want to break away maybe from the intro businesses to that higher level. Well, that means better branding, right? That means getting out there on different kind of networks and up-leveling constantly what it is that you do and the image that you leave with people, because it's a breakaway from, hey, I'm cost this much, when you start off and you're $1,000 for a program, to, where I am anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000 for a program. That starts to happen as you move up that scale. And again, that's why branding is so key. And then your communication style, how and what you communicate, your blogs, your emails, social media, phone, marketing, business cards, every one of these are touch points. And people today expect touch points from different mediums and different directions. We have our social media, which you want to make sure is of course aligned, not just with your colors, but with your naming convention. This is something I often talk about as well under the social media topic. And that is, in my case, right, my brand, I have moved as the CEO of my company to the front. So our branding, or my branding, is under the Tracy Repchuk. So, it's Instagram.com/Tracy Repchuk, and Facebook and LinkedIn and all of them /Tracy Repchuk. Take a look at the brand alignment that you have within your company or within your personal brand to ensure that that aligns. Because the more difficult it is for somebody to find you, the harder it is for them to connect with you and to understand what your message is. And so that becomes a very important part of the brand as well. And so when you put all of this together, and it starts to build your footprint, your identity launch pad, right? That's where then it's important to start to lay out a marketing plan. How do I roll this out? How do I put this as a footprint online? And then how do I incorporate this into the message and the target market that I want to reach? Those start to become very important elements when it comes to impacting your marketplace. So if you take a look and are interested, you can go to fastactionresults.com. You can get a free gift from me there. But more importantly, if you are ready to reinvent, to take your business to the next level, would like an online assessment, any of those types of elements, then you can book a discovery call, or you can take a look at any of the range of products and services that I have once you have gone through that system. And again, this is just another way to ensure that we get that connection that we need. If you send somebody directly to your website, then they're going to get overwhelmed. If you went and looked at tracyrepchuk.com right now, you would actually be extremely overwhelmed because there's so many choices and so many things and directions that you can go. This allows me to really fine tune and hone the communication with you so that I can get you exactly what you're looking for. And then I send you to various pages on my website. And that's what I want you to be doing as well.